This is On the Sidelines with Box 13.
And welcome back into another episode of the On the Sidelines podcast. I'm your host, Ethan McReynolds, here. Not as always. This is a special occasion. We got our producer extraordinaire, Austin Lane, joining me on the podcast. D-Jack, Dante Jackson, still on holiday, enjoying it, resting, relaxing. Just heard from him. He's doing well. He will be back next week. But Austin, a pleasure to have you.
Yeah.
And we get to talk Seahawks.
I know. Pleasure to be here. A great time of the year to be here.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got playoffs right around the corner, and I think the last time I was on the podcast, we were talking about Mariners playoffs, so I kind of skipped the boring part of the year, and then skipped straight to the fun part. So,
you got the the express line at Disneyland. You're just skipping to the
the lightning lane.
So the lightning lane. Yeah. I mean, it was a phenomenal game that we saw on Sunday from the defense, really carrying the another slow start from the offense that we saw. But it doesn't matter when you have one of the best defenses in the NFL that holds the Panthers' Bryce Young to 1.5 yards per pass.
I know.
I mean, that is unheard of. The statistical stuff that was coming out after the game, I mean, that's stuff that we've never seen. I think it was Bryce Young, 54 passing yards on 24 attempts. Yep. That's the least amount of passing yards on 24-plus attempts since 1980. That's almost, half a century. That's almost half a century. This defense is doing stuff that we really never see.
Yeah, and this is a defense that hangs its hat on stopping the run. And this is what we saw in the passing defense. This is a great sign, especially as we near the end of the season.
Yeah, I mean, there's just a lot of good stuff here statistically, holding the Panthers to 1 of 11 on third down. I mean, the winning third down, it's just so crucial in the NFL. So to hold them to 1 of 11 was incredible. Obviously, the 2 turnovers forced. The longest play by the Panthers was 11 yards. I mean, Mike McDonald talks about limiting explosive plays. They were able to do that and much more on Sunday.
Yeah, I mean, there have been previous games this season where, like you said, the offense hasn't looked good, but the defense has kept them in the game until late, and then eventually, they kind of break out. And that's kind of what we saw this week as well. It was tied 3-3 at half. The final score was nowhere close to the story of this game. It was 17-10 Seahawks with 8 minutes left before Myers kicked that field goal to make it 20-10, eventually, 27-10. But I think we've seen this a couple of times now where the defense is just so good at smothering their opponent and just not even allowing the other team to even have a chance at winning the game. I think earlier in the season, I would see a first half like that and kind of get a little antsy, and kind of say, like, they could lose this game even though they're not supposed to. But I watched the first half of this game, and I didn't even really feel that this time around because I know how they play in the second half and how good their defense is throughout an entire game that I've kind of just gotten used to them winning games like this.
I think it's one of the traits of a truly elite Super Bowl contending team is you never really think that they're out of a game. And when you finally did against the Rams, what do? They came back and somehow forced overtime and won that game. So, I mean, it reminds me of those Super Bowl teams, 2013 and 2014. You just never felt like they were truly out of a game, and they had a similar win against the Packers in the NFC Championship game. So you mentioned smothering, and I sort of want to build off of that because that's the one word, that's the one, I think that's the best adjective to describe this defense. And it's something that honestly reminds me of the Legion of Boom defenses. And I know people get annoyed when this defense is compared to the Legion of Boom, but it's really hard not to. I mean, this is the second stage that we've seen of like a truly elite defense in this era of the Seattle Seahawks. Just the 139 total yards allowed by the defense on Sunday, 8th fewest in franchise history. It's just the formula, I feel like, is very similar. You're dominant against the run. This defense limits explosives in the passing game, and then by limiting those explosives, you force those underneath routes. Those aren't open either. You're getting fast and relentless pursuit, and then you've got Uchenna Nwosu, your edge rusher linebacker, making open field tackles. You got Nicky Manwari blowing up screens before they even have a chance to develop. It's plays happening where they just have absolutely nowhere to go, no chance of anything happening. That is what this defense is about, and I haven't seen it since the Legion of Boom days.
Yeah, I want to go back to that Rams Thursday night football game just for a second to talk more about that, because what we saw in that game was the defense maybe a little bit struggling to fill run gaps or struggling to, limit those big explosive passing plays until you saw later in the game those adjustments being made. And then at one point in the fourth quarter, I believe the Rams had those 3 straight 3-and-outs, and you saw them kind of getting underneath the routes and kind of anticipating better what the Rams were going to do. And we saw that throughout the Panthers game. I mean, the Panthers obviously a little bit less tough of an opponent as the Rams, and you almost expect them to play that much better against the Panthers, but
not 54 passing yards.
No, that is completely unexpected. You don't see an NFL quarterback do that. Even these new guys who are coming third string, fourth string guys, on these other teams, you're
Max
not seeing
Brosmer
that.
had a better game than that.
Right. And so I think it's just a testament to how good the defense is. Like you said, it stops with stopping the run. You're forcing the other team to pass the ball, and then once you can get them into those third and long passing downs, you can kind of pin your ears back and get after the quarterback and watch out for screens and things like that, and kind of just blow them up in the backfield. And like you said, it's not even limiting explosive plays. It's like having explosive plays yourself on defense.
Yes.
And that's in turn creating the offense. You saw the points off turnovers in this game. I think it's going to come down to that on Saturday night against the 49ers and moving forward throughout the playoffs. Can the defense continue to limit explosive plays, but also have explosive plays themselves? The sacks, the fumbles, the interceptions, that's what's going to in turn create offense and make it easier for the offense to score. I think that's the key, is making it easier for Sam Darnold and company to get down the field. If you only have to go 40 yards to score a touchdown as opposed to 80, that's going to be a huge difference
Absolutely.
maker.
Well, and you see not only the defense having the offense's back, and Sam has the sack fumble that I don't know if it was or not. That's a story for another day. But you see them next play force the fumble, get the ball right back. Seahawks offense is able to go down, score a touchdown. You got the interception soon after that. Seahawks go and score a touchdown. So it's like not only is the defense mitigating the damage caused by some of Sam's turnover proneness, but you're also seeing them create the offense for them and sort of spark that. And it's pretty cool to see this team sort of find momentum in both sides of the ball sort of playing off each other, and then they're just rolling from there. Mike McDonald says stacking plays, and that's not on one side of the ball. That's both sides of the ball playing complementary football. The Seahawks have a really good balance. You mentioned the Niners game. Man, I mean, it's set up for a doozy. I mean, you got the 1 seed on the line, the NFC West title on the line. It is a big difference between having the 1 seed and home field advantage. Obviously, I'm not breaking any news here, and being the 5 seed, having to go on the road for a playoff game. Yeah, it'll be against the NFC South winner, neither the Panthers, who we just saw, or the Bucks. But if you look at past that, I mean, first you got to win a road game in the NFL, which is not an easy thing to do, and then you'd have to go to either Chicago or
Philadelphia
in January.
Yeah.
I don't want to do that.
I
don't want to do that.
Do not want to do that. I'm so happy the Falcons beat the Rams to kind of eliminate that 6th seed from being a possibility, just for those reasons you just said. But yeah, I wouldn't be too worried about going to Carolina or going to Tampa Bay, especially after what we just saw against the Panthers, even in their own house. Like another rematch against them on the road, I think would go similar as what we saw last weekend. But I mean, I don't want to be the 5 seed, even though that's a good situation to be in for the wild card round. I don't want to play a wild card game. I want to skip that first round. I want to play that guaranteed home game in the divisional round, guaranteed home game in the NFC Championship. They're a better team on the road this year, sure, but you still want to give the fans that experience. And it does kind of remind me of 2013 playing the 49ers, making them the wild card, us the 1 seed, and then welcoming them back, in the NFC Championship. Obviously, we know how that went. So
yeah, absolutely. Well, I feel like this team has gotten so much better at home. And yes, they have been a better team throughout the season, but I think you've just seen Lumen Field, that atmosphere has really come back to when the Legion of Boom was here and when the Super Bowl winning teams were here. I mean, that Rams game, it was loud.
I was going to say, I heard the difference through your camera. You were down there on the field and I was producing in the booth, and I could hear the fans, through your guys' cameras.
You could feel the electricity in the stand, and that's just something, I mean, the past 5 years, I mean, what was it, 2 years ago? I mean, the Packers came into town and you're hearing "Go Pack Go" chants through the broadcast. Like you haven't really seen that throughout, I would say, third of the way through the season and on. You haven't really seen that as heavily. So skipping that first round of the playoffs would be awesome. I think the home field advantage is back.
Yeah.
I think it's back, and it is a legitimate thing to where you can go back to the early 2000s all the way up through the Super Bowl years and a little bit past that, to where Lumen Field is one of the scariest places to play in the National Football League, if not the scariest. These teams do not want to come up to play us.
All it takes is telling this fan base, we're the best team in the NFC.
Yes.
We're playing these playoff
showing
games
it on the
at
field.
home. Yeah, it's showing it on the field. It's locking up that 1 seed. That's going to get those fans to come out. If you're the 5 seed and you go to Tampa or Carolina and you win, and then you go to Philadelphia or Chicago and then you win, and then say on the off chance you do host an NFC championship against the 6th or 7th seed, low chance of it happening. But at that point, I still think the fans would come out, but it certainly feels different when you are the 1 seed. You just kind of have that, that target on your back.
Yes.
And the fans will back this team up in a huge way when they know that the team has that target on their back. They're the number 1 seed in the NFC. They're the ones to be afraid of throughout the playoffs.
Totally.
That's when the fans come out and make as much noise as you can see them make.
Who is the team in the NFC that you would least want the Seahawks to face in the postseason?
In the postseason, I do not want to see the 49ers again. I think this weekend's game is going to come down to maybe 1 or 2 plays similar to the Rams game. I think what I saw in the Rams-Falcons game on Monday Night Football, though, makes me a little less scared of the Rams.
Totally.
The Niners are the team on this win streak. Their offense has been playing outrageously good. They're the team I think I'm most afraid of. I'm kind of almost glad we're getting this game out of the way on Saturday. Maybe I'll have a different feeling after how Saturday's game goes. I don't know. If we win or lose, if we lose, I definitely don't want to see them again. If we win, I still think they might just be that scary team once you get in the postseason, especially even in a rematch. So.
For me, I think the Niners for me are 2. For me, it's the Rams.
Yeah.
I think when you look at this Niners matchup, the Niners have the least amount of sacks in the entire league, one of the lowest pressure rates in the league. That's something that's really bothered this Seahawks offense and Sam Darnold specifically. When you look at the Rams, they just sort of know how to get to Sam Darnold. Yeah. I know he responded really well in that fourth quarter and overtime, and that's a huge kudos to Sam for having the shortest memory of any quarterback in the NFL, a la Goldfish and Ted Lasso. Yeah. But that's just not a team. That's not a defense that I want to see to where Sean McVay can sort of game plan some stuff up on a third meeting. And I don't doubt Mike McDonald's ability to sort of go toe for toe in that sort of X's and O's chess match that sort of goes on behind the scenes. But I don't want to mess with that at all. And what scares me a little bit is if the Rams end up getting the 6th seed, or even, you could face the Rams as your first playoff opponent if you have home field advantage. And they're coming here and you feel good about that. I don't want to see the Rams. Absolutely not. So,
it would be absolutely brutal if you had to play the Rams in the divisional round at home as your first, after the bye.
I think you're going to have to go through them no matter what if you want to make it to the Super Bowl. I think the Rams and the Niners, unless there isn't really a world where they would cannibalize each other unless you're also a wild card team.
Yeah.
But you have to get through the Rams to get to the Super Bowl. The Rams scare me way more than the Bears or the Eagles do.
Yeah, me as well.
Especially if you're at home.
For me, like when you asked what's the team you don't want to see most, I said Niners. It's a very close second for the Rams. I don't want to see them either. I think I'd see them instead of the Niners just barely, I would rather see them instead of the Niners just barely, but it is super close. And NFC West dominance, greatest season by a division in its entirety, even counting the Cardinals. Wow. You can even count them into this. We've never seen 3 teams be this good going into the playoffs. So it's a fascinating time to watch football here in the Pacific Northwest.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I do think this Niners game is going to be really interesting because we don't really know. We know how the Seahawks and Rams sort of match up against each other. That Niners Seahawks game in week 1. It's 2 completely different teams. The Niners are without Nick Bosa and Fred Warner now, and somehow they're still playing good football, more so on the offensive side of the ball. The Seahawks, Nicky Manwari didn't even play in that Niners game, played 4 snaps. Yeah. You got Ty Okada now in the fold. You've got, hopefully Rashid Shaheed is able to go. Sam Darnold has a newfound confidence since that game where they treated him like a backup quarterback in that first game. If we want to go back and remember, it was very vanilla. It was very conservative. They were leaning on the running game, and then they needed to lean on him in the final drive to go and get him down there. He did, and then the one play, the turnover, sort of makes all that point moot. But Sam Darnold's ability to go down in the fourth quarter and show that he can actually win games in the late stages, that's very promising to me. And I wouldn't be surprised if this game comes down to that too.
Yeah, I think we've seen both teams get better throughout the season, obviously. When you go back to that first Niners game, it was kind of a defensive battle. And I think with how good the 49ers offense has been recently and how many steps forward the Seahawks offense has taken, I think we'll see a higher over-under going into this one and more points than the previous 49ers matchup. But I still think it's going to come down to just a couple plays. It's going to come down to a turnover, a big play on offense, something, maybe a Rashid Shaheed return. You never know what can turn the game around, just like in that Rams game. But I think it's going to be a close game. It's going to be a fun watch. And I think regardless of what happens, both teams are in good position going into the playoffs because the loser getting the 5 seed, obviously not ideal, but having to go play the NFC South winner should be okay. And then having to go play the 2 or 3 seed after that should be okay. I think one of these two teams will be playing in the NFC Championship no matter what.
Absolutely. For me, it's just those road games in Chicago or Philly in January. I mean, that you just don't want any part of that. So, yes, I either one of these teams I cannot see losing in the wild card round. But man, it's that next game, and that's always what it was. I mean, Aaron Levine. I mean, it has been 9 years since the Seahawks hosted a playoff game with fans in the stands. Yeah, it has been that long. That's crazy. I mean, that is absolutely insane. But you go through the years after the Super Bowl lost to the Patriots, where the Seahawks weren't able to win the division. They had to go on the road. They'd win that wild card game on the road, but then you got to go on the road again against a much better opponent in the elements as well. I just don't want any part of that. Yeah. This game, no matter how well the Seahawks are playing, is crucial to not only get home field advantage, but to avoid those tough road games. Let's talk about Sam Darnold really quick. How concerned are you about his turnovers? Do you think the Seahawks can overcome Sam Darnold's turnover? He has the most turnovers by a single player in the entire league this year. Yeah. Can the Seahawks overcome his turnover issues in the playoffs?
I think a team is as good as their record shows. I mean, this is a 13-3 team. You can tell me all about his turnovers. I think the answer is obvious that they can overcome them if they're a 13-3 football team. I mean, it's you don't get lucky going 13-3. Like, you have to be a good football team to go 13-3. And
well, the Charbonnet 2-point conversion, that was a little lucky.
There were lucky
Stuff
plays
both ways.
There were lucky plays, but getting to 13-3 just shows you're a good team.
They earned every bit of it.
Overall.
Totally.
And I think with Darnold, you're going to see turnovers with him no matter what happens, and some of them have been unlucky throughout the year. I mean, we've seen balls get popped up in the air,
deflections off helmets.
Yeah. These random weird, like even against the Panthers, I don't know if that fumble was actually a fumble.
Totally.
But the way that the team responds to these turnovers is kind of what is going to make them scary for other teams in the playoffs. Because if you roll into the playoffs and you're a team that turns the ball over a lot, and a team knows that and can take advantage of that, start jumping in front of routes and picking the ball off and things like that, that's okay. But you're dealing with Seattle's defense, who's going to come out and hit you just as hard as you got hit. We saw it, we turned the ball over and got the ball right back. That's something the Seahawks defense is hanging their hat on. And like you said earlier, backing up Sam Darnold, making sure he feels comfortable to keep trying to squeeze those passes into those tight coverages, just because you're going to have to do that to win playoff games. Yeah. He can't get gun shy in the playoffs. He's going to have to keep playing as good as he can. And if that means 1 or 2 interceptions a game, maybe that's it. Maybe that's the case. But the defense is good enough to back him up. And him knowing that, I think, is going to help them down the stretch. I mean, like I said, 13-3. That doesn't happen to...
It's not a fluke.
Right. That doesn't happen to lucky, on a lucky basis. Like, that is a very much skill thing. Like, this team is better than you in many cases. And if it's despite Sam Darnold turning the ball over, that's okay. But if it's, if Sam Darnold comes into the playoffs and has a couple games that he doesn't turn the ball over, or maybe turns it over once, then this team was really going to be scary. Because if he can limit those, who knows what can happen.
The sky's the limit.
Yeah.
I mean, they're 13-3 with the turnover problems. I mean, that is spectacular. I think this team can win in so many different ways. Yeah. It can win off the backs of an offense that's averaging over 25 points per game. It can win off the backs of a defense that I believe is second in the league in scoring defense. That Rams game showed me a lot about the makeup of Sam Darnold, and I feel like we've seen it through the entire season. He had the 2 interceptions. He wasn't getting gun-shy, and he hasn't gotten gun-shy this entire season outside of the 49ers game where it sort of felt like that was the game plan. even the 4 interception game against the Rams when they ended up losing, I mean, they were backed up to the 1 yard line on the best punt I've ever seen in my entire life. We will never see a better punt than that one right there. Sam Darnold, with under a minute to go, gets the Seahawks to a 62-yard field goal away from coming back and winning that game with 4 interceptions. That takes a lot of confidence. That takes a lot of belief in yourself and from your coaching staff and everybody around you. The guys see that. They see Sam making mistakes, having a short memory, and then overcoming them. Yeah. And he's done it time and time again. Look at the second Rams game with 2 turnovers, and then another red zone fumble from Cooper Kupp. The offense doesn't blink. Sam Darnold doesn't blink, and he is slinging the ball. I mean, that overtime throw to Cooper Kupp on the sideline, I mean, with a guy in his face and just taking a lick, I mean, that is special stuff. So the makeup of Sam Darnold and his ability to compartmentalize previous mistakes and not let it impact, not compounding mistakes for the most part, and not letting it, there's no hesitancy. I mean, like you go back to the I'm seeing ghosts. He's in his own head. That's like, oh man, I missed that throw. Is this guy really going to be up? I mean, it's like second guessing. Mm-hmm. You're not seeing that this year. This dude, this guy, he's somebody that's playing with confidence, and he's playing with, looks like a guy he's playing with. He knows that guys have his back. And I think it was Greg Bell that pointed this out after the Panthers game. I believe it was the strip sack fumble. First Seahawks turnover. Greg mentions Devin Witherspoon's like skipping onto the field, smiling, hollering. Leonard Williams is pumping up the crowds. The Panthers crowd's going crazy. Like, yeah, like, no, we're here. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, he said that it looked like they were almost happy to be on the field. Yeah. Which you don't see that from a team that doesn't have their quarterbacks back. No. I mean, and you heard Ernest Jones, like, if you don't rock with Sam, F you. I mean, like, you cannot say it any more clear than that. This is a team that has Sam Darnold's back, and then you look at the defense and being able to mitigate the mistakes even when they do happen. I mean, if this team doesn't have the makeup to overcome Sam Darnold and his turnovers, I don't know what does. I mean, this is the perfect formula to overcome an issue like that. And it's something that if Sam Darnold can take care of the football, no team in the National Football League is going to beat the Seattle Seahawks. Yeah. Mike McDonald talked about his quarterback yesterday at the presser, speaking to the media. Let's take a listen to what he had to say.
I think the numbers yesterday show that it wasn't his best game. And like I said after the game, Sam did what we needed to do to win the game. Now you're a hairline fracture away, or a angstrom away from that being an incomplete pass, and we'll see where the toe was on the interception. All of a sudden now we have a no turnover game and no one's talking about it. So can we make some better decisions? Can we clean up some fundamentals? Yeah, absolutely. That goes for everybody. That's the same story every game, but talked to Sam this morning. He's in great spirits. Same guy every day, did the things we needed to win.
Now, I have to disagree with one part of McDonald's statement. That was a bad throw by Sam. Yeah. I mean, that should have been – that was very justifiably an interception, whether or not his foot was on the line. Right. I don't think it was. But either way, that like if you make that throw, you can't be surprised that that's getting picked off. That was a bad one from Sam. But, to his point, I mean, Sam's the same guy every single day. He's not waking up the day after a 4-interception game and he's, all pissy in the locker room or whatever. I mean, this is a guy that has a lot of confidence in himself and a lot of confidence in his teammates. And the most important thing, McDonald said it right there, he did what the team needed him to do to win the game. And that is all that matters, the quarterback position, right? Yeah, Can you do it when it matters the most? And Sam has shown that he has that in him this year.
Yeah, with this elite of a defense, you don't need an elite quarterback to win games. And I think that they've kind of, that's kind of their identity this year, to just have a game manager at quarterback in Sam Darnold. You don't need to go have like a Patrick Mahomes type of season. It's like you can win games even if you throw interceptions because the defense is that good. Mm-hmm. And I know people are, like you said earlier, tired of comparing them to LOB era, but that's what we had in Russell Wilson. Yes. We had a mobile quarterback who could escape things. That's a little different than Sam Darnold. But in terms of the ability to completely take over a game, I don't think Russell Wilson ever did it all by himself and was like an elite quarterback. He had a good peak couple of seasons, but
during those Super Bowl years, absolutely.
But it was always the defense. It was always, have that guy at quarterback that can, get you through a game throw a couple touchdowns, maybe throw a couple interceptions, but the defense is what you're really going to hang your hat on. And your ability to win games comes down to how well your defense plays, not how bad your offense plays.
Well, and to make more of a parallel between Sam and Russell and those teams, I mean, Russell was an imperfect quarterback. Sam Darnold's very clearly an imperfect quarterback. While both were capable, they had their fallbacks. Russ, obviously, with his height, it was harder for him to see over the middle. He was really good with the deep ball, but that's not a very consistent form of offense. How many frustrating 3-and-outs did we see? And then, Russ has to do some crazy heroics in the fourth quarter. Yeah. I mean, that's because of some of the imperfections that Russ had as a quarterback. Sam Darnold, same thing. Some of the turnovers earlier in games, stalling drives, some bad sacks. That was a bad intentional grounding that he took early in the game against the Panthers that completely wiped out, that opening drive. So You're seeing similar imperfections at the quarterback position and similar elite play from the defensive side of the ball that mitigates those fallbacks from the offense. The similarities are really, really hard to ignore, in my opinion. I think we can't finish the Seahawks segment without touching on the run game because they really did sort of carry that offense throughout much of that game. Zach Charbonnet, 18 rushes, 110 yards, 2 touchdowns, over 5 yards per carry, 163 total rushing yards on the day. What'd you make of the running game on Sunday?
Obviously a way improvement of what we've seen earlier this season. I think, obviously your offensive firepower is always going to come down to how well you're running the ball. And if they can do that, 5-6 yards per carry, then that's going to unlock the passing offense even more for Sam Darnold and company. So liked what I saw from the run game. I'm sure it comes down to just how well that offensive line is run scheming and finding their blocks. But then it also does come down to the running back. We're seeing Charbonnet take a step forward. Last week we're seeing Ken Walker take steps forward over the last couple of weeks as well, and finding those gaps, hitting the seams, finding open gaps. That's really what it comes down to. I don't need to see 20-yard runs. I need to see 6-yard runs.
Yes.
And earlier this season, we were seeing 3-yard run, 2-yard run, -1-yard run. You got to stop seeing those. And thankfully on Sunday against the Panthers, we did. So
let's go to the Niners game. How do you think it plays out? The Niners pass rush has not been very good, but the offense is top 10 in yards per game, right up there with the Seahawks.
Yeah.
Defensively, they're pretty average in yards per game so far this year. I think the Seahawks pull it out. I'm pretty confident in their ability to win tight games. How do you see it playing out?
It's going to be the front seven and Christian McCaffrey. Can that front seven limit where Christian McCaffrey is going? He is so slippery. He can get outside and beat you on the outside. He can go up the middle and beat you through the middle. It doesn't matter with this guy. He's one of the best running backs in the league for a reason. It's going to come down to, can the Seahawks stop that 49ers run offense? And if they can start to get stops of the run offense, then you're making Brock Purdy throw the ball more, and maybe that's when you can start to try and force a turnover or get some sacks, things like that. I also am confident in the Seahawks being able to win this game. It's going to be so close. I think there's no way this is going to be a blowout one way or the other.
It's going to come down to the last possession.
Yeah, it just feels like it's a classic Seahawks-49ers rivalry game that is like back in a big way, shades of early 2010s. We got through that Rams. I don't even know what you'd call it. The McVay hurdle, I guess, is what I'm going to call it. You got through the McVay hurdle, finally taking down McVay and the Rams. And kind of leveling up in that game. You saw the team kind of take that next step forward. Now, here's another chance to take another step forward. Even looking back at the last game against the 49ers this season, can you right your wrongs from that game and make some improvements from that game? And, man, it's going to be such a fun game to watch. I cannot wait to watch it. I will be screaming at my TV the whole time. I wish I could go down to Santa Clara to watch this game in person. That's how much I'm excited for it. But
yeah, it's going to be a really fun one. And the Seahawks have only beaten the Niners once in their last 8 tries. Yeah. So yeah, it is a hump that you have to get over with the 49ers, similar to how you had to get over McVay.
If the Rams game was kind of like a passing of the torch, this is also a passing of the torch. If Seattle is that number 1 team in the NFC West champ, this is the game that you have to go win and do it. And it literally is coming down to that. So
yeah, you felt like the Niners were sort of going to taper off on their own, but they are right here, and the Seahawks need to deliver the finishing blow. Yeah. You mentioned Christian McCaffrey. That is a big matchup that we need to watch out for. 60 in the first matchup, 69 rushing yards, 73 passing yards. What is that? 100 and over 140 total yards of offense
That's
right there.
the
But then
other
you've
thing
got
you
Nicky
always-
Manwari. But then you have Nicky Manwari. So that's like I feel like that's the perfect kind of guy. Who can sort of be the McCaffrey stopper right there.
Matchup wise, it very well could be.
Yeah.
I mean, I always forget McCaffrey's such a threat in the passing game too until you just brought up his how many receiving yards he had.
It's funny. I think the Niners are one of the worst rushing offenses in the entire league.
But it
yet they
doesn't
have one
matter.
of the best running backs in the league, but it's because of how lethal he is in the passing game.
Yeah.
So that's going to be something to watch. I mean, and if the matchup against the Panthers and what the defense was able to do is any indicator. I mean, we've been saying it for the past couple of weeks. This defense is playing like the best defense in the NFL if you want to look at recent performance. Yeah. So you got to feel pretty good heading into this Niners match if you are a Seahawks fan. Let's transition. Let's update our pick standings. I know everybody was waiting. We didn't have a podcast last week, but here's what we got. I had a pretty subpar week. Austin going 3-0. Austin, you're only 2 wins back. I'm at 35 wins. Yeah,
back-to-back 3-0 weeks for me. I know we didn't do the podcast week before, but I went 3-0 that week as well. So 6-0 over the last 6 games. I'm having a couple of weeks like you were having earlier in the season where you went 3-0. Yeah,
it's all evening out.
I mean, by the end of the season, it's usually going to even out, right? With so many games, we're picking so many games. Credit to Dante as well, going 3-0. Yeah. I mean, he was kind of hovering around the 500 mark. Now he's up there 10 games over 500. Yeah. So yeah, it's coming down to the wire. And if you're a recurring watcher of this or listener of this podcast, just know that we will continue these picks into the postseason. So keep an eye out for me taking the lead eventually over Ethan.
And Will Ordner is only a game behind you. Yes. So I'm at 35 wins. Austin's at 33.
Everyone's alive.
Everyone is alive. Yeah, Austin's at 33 and Will Ordner at 32. Dante just behind at 30. So everybody is still in it. We're going to be picking every single playoff game, so a lot of picks still to be had. Let's go into this week's picks. I'll start with Will Ordner of Chat Sports. He's got a fun little bevy of selections here. He's going Seahawks at Niners. He's going with the double dog this week. He's going with the Steelers, the underdog against the Ravens, and he's going with, I really like this pick, he's going with the Saints and Tyler Shuck, underdogs against the Falcons, even though the Falcons just took down the Rams. Yeah. I almost took that game. I really like that pick from Will. Austin, your picks. We got the Jags over the Titans. The Jags still with a little bit to play for, so I like that over the Titans. We got the Broncos over the Justin Herbert-less Chargers. Yeah. And then the underdog of the week, the Giants at home against the Cowboys. Why are you going with the Giants?
NFC East game, late in the season. Both teams don't really have much to play for.
Jackson Dart believer.
Jackson Dart. Yeah, I mean, like there were a couple other games where I was looking and, the lines were, 5.5, 6.5, whatever. And just, I don't know, the last week of the season is just so hard to pick.
It is.
Let's go back to Will's picks. That's a triple underdog. He's got the Seahawks as well.
The Seahawks are favorites.
They are favorites? Okay.
They're a 1.5 favorites.
Okay.
I mean, but narrow. I
thought it was the other way around.
That's basically a pick 'em, though.
Yeah, I mean, it may as well be. So.
I mean, and I wouldn't be surprised if that line.
I'm just shocked he's going with that as his favorite.
That's his guarantee. I mean, he could have picked the Patriots or 12.5-point favorites over the Dolphins.
Well, but once you do that is when they lose.
Exactly.
We all know how it goes.
That's happened throughout the season. We see that throughout the entire year. Dante has not submitted his picks, so Dante, shame on you. But he is resting and relaxing with his family. Yeah. So we'll give him a pass. We'll give him a pass. We'll get his picks throughout the week, and they will count even if they are not on blast over the airways. We can go over them next week. I'm going with the Eagles at home against the Commanders. I'm going with the inverse of Will's pick. I'm going with the Ravens against the Steelers because Aaron Rodgers. I'm very against Aaron Rodgers. Yeah. I just don't. I'm not an Aaron Rodgers believer. I can see it now. He's gonna throw all his teammates under the bus after they lose. It's gonna be awesome. Even though he's gonna go 1 touchdown, 3 picks, and he's gonna find a way to make it his teammates' fault.
Okay,
it's gonna be awesome. My underdog. I'm gonna go with the Carolina Panthers at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Yeah. I think the longest active streak of win-loss, 10 straight. They're going to make it 11 straight, and they're going to beat the Bucs for the NFC South title. That's going to be a fun game.
You've got 2 games that are the division deciding games.
That was sort of the strategy because I mean, like, what if I don't know, like the Patriots? What if they see? I don't know how the timings work, but they see the Broncos lose,
and then they just roll over.
Drake May, we're gonna take him out. Like, who knows who the quarterbacks are going to be? Yeah. I wanted to make sure that I knew who the quarterbacks were going to be in these games.
Yeah,
So
it's going to be a fun week of just if you're an NFL fan in general. I mean,
totally.
3 games.
The
to
witching
decide
hour
the
is going to go hard this week with Scott Hansen. Yeah. All right, let's transition. We got some quick hitters for you to wrap up the episode, and also a top 5 from Austin in honor of Dante. So stick around for that. But some quick hitters. The Seattle Kraken, after. I mean, that was an enormous losing. What, they lose 10 of 11?
Something, yeah.
They now have points in 5 straight games. They just had their 4-game winning streak snapped in overtime to the Canucks. They should have won that game. The Canucks are not good this year. I believe they just traded Bo Horvat. I don't know hockey enough. Anyway, they're only 2 points out of a playoff spot right now.
Oh,
after that ginormous losing streak, they trade away Marchment. I mean, things were looking very, very down for the Seattle Kraken.
Like you just said, you mentioned the Canucks game and saying the Canucks are bad. We should have won that game. I'm sure Vancouver's saying the same thing about us. Hey, the Kraken don't look so good. We should be winning this game.
Yep.
And so, you had an opportunity. There was kind of a fork in the road. You can keep going down this path of you're one of the worst teams in the NHL in this very moment,
yes,
or you can start to improve. And we've seen the Kraken start to improve, start to gain some relevancy again here in the Seattle sports market as the Seahawks take over the headlines. So nice to have something to look forward to after the NFL season's over if the Kraken can keep playing a little bit better.
And mostly led by a resurgence from Philip Grubauer. You'd love to see Gruby starting to play some better hockey.
Yep.
Next up, we got the Sounders re-signing hometown kid, Capitol Hill native Paul Rothrock, Lakeside alum, to a multi-year contract. It looked like, all the reports coming out, that he was going to go to San Jose. I mean, that looked done and dusted. And Craig Weibel even said after the season that the Sounders did not have much salary cap space to really make any big moves. This is their big offseason signing. Yeah. Like, this is it. And, I mean, it's a big one. I mean, Paul Rothrock was so instrumental to their depth, to what they were able to do, being able to play as you get the attacking returns from him on the wing, but also with him being able to play as a wing back. I mean, just the tactical versatility that he provides, on top of, you're not going to have Pedro de la Vega until mid-season with his torn or broken kneecap. Feel awful for Pedro. You're not re-signing Ryan Kent because it was too high of a price tag. You needed to bring back Paul Rothrock, or else you were going to be pretty slim on the wing there.
And beyond in-game skill from Rothrock, you also have, he's a ticket seller. He's that local guy.
Primetime.
He's the local kid.
They have Messi, we have Paul Rothrock.
That's right.
I mean, just like a certified Sounders legend at this point.
I mean, it's on par with, bringing a guy like Jordan Morris back.
Yes.
It's just that local kid that you want to, familiar face in the building, to the fans, to everybody. Jersey seller, that's the guy you really got to lock up, and I'm glad they did.
And he's doing it on the field as well with his hustle on top of the versatility. I mean, like, he is like the epitome of a Brian Schmetzer Sounder guy. So really cool to see him back, and his statement talking about how much he loves Seattle and he's so committed to the team growing here. And I mean, like, just couldn't have a better guy to have back in the fold in that locker room, along with Stephen Fry. Maybe your captain, this is a pretty good guy to have in the locker room. But yeah, awesome to have both those guys back. Pretty happy with how the Sounders offseason sort of shaping up. And then I want to give a shout out to the Cougs. Cougs football. I mean, talk about the Kraken being down.
Yeah,
I don't think anybody in the sports world was more down than the Cougs after losing Jimmy Rogers.
Yeah.
The year after losing Jake Dickert. I mean, just all of just everything in flux with their athletic programs and financially them having to make cuts and everything. They go and hire Kirby Moore, who is from Prosser, local guy. Which we were talking to M. Christo Bruce on Washington Sports Wrap, former Coug defensive lineman, and I mean, he says it's a home run. He is thrilled because, I mean, the problem, I mean, you don't want guys that are using this for to get to the next gig like Jimmy Rogers did, and that's the world of sports, right? But if you're gonna create a program to where you can sell guys on coming here, developing, and maybe pitching them the traditional college experience, like come here, like. Be in our program for 4 years and develop.
Yeah.
You need stability in the coaching staff. So Kirby Moore from Prosser. Then you've got Trent Bray, who this was a week ago as the defensive coordinator. He graduated from Pullman High School. And then you've got the most recent hire. This is reported yesterday by ESPN. I apologize if I screw the name up. E.T. Enna. He's hired as the defensive line coach. He's a Washington native from, I'm probably going to mess this one up too, in Chelium.
Sounds right.
Yeah, from Eastern. He's from like northeastern Washington, Ferris County, I believe.
Okay.
Former player and coach at Eastern Washington University. So you've already got 3 guys on your coaching staff, reportedly, obviously, that are natives that have reasons to stick around long term.
And that's priority number one for the
and not
Cougs.
just use the program for 11 months, not even a full calendar year, and then just jet at the first opportunity.
Especially as they entered their new era in a new conference, a rebuilt Pac-12 that is allowing them the opportunity to, let's be honest, make the college football playoff. We saw Tulane and James Madison get into the CFP this year. Teams like Washington State can do that. They just need that stability. They need to be able to build up their program. I wish nothing but success for the Cougs after all that they've been through.
Yeah.
They have still an opportunity to take that next step and be a top 25 team in the country, make the college football playoff.
Well, especially
who says why not?
Especially in the new Pac-12.
Yeah.
New I mean, that's going to be great for them. Everyone's rooting for the Cougs.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
I'm a Huskies fan, grown, like born and raised. My dad forced me to be a Huskies fan growing up, and I just want the Cougs to be good.
Yeah.
I like when
it's
when
better
the
for the
Cougars are
state.
good.
It is better for the state.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that is our quick hitters, but that is not all that we have for the episode. Dante is not here, but we do have a top 5 dead or alive.
Yeah.
With Mr. Austin Lane. So
I figured with Dante out for the week, I may as well step in. And as we near the new year, we've got to do top 5 Seattle sports moments of 2025.
Love it.
So, starting with number 5, I'll work my way backwards here. I'm going with the arrival of the Seattle Torrent.
Nice.
Professional Women's Hockey League, welcome to Seattle. Most of their games airing on Fox 13 Plus. Had to get the plug in there for Fox 13 Plus.
That's not why that is not why they're on the list.
No.
It is because
it is beyond
an awesome
that.
accomplishment.
Yes, it is.
But also catch them out on the Fox local app as
there
well.
you go. There you go. Brand new, professional
it's really
sports.
cool. I mean, they broke
awesome.
they broke the record for home attendance in the PWHL in their home opener.
If we want to
Really
pinpoint
cool
one specific moment, we'll just do that one.
Yeah, awesome.
So that's my number 5. My number 4, Seahawks Rams Thursday Night Football. One of the
still
best.
riding the high.
Yeah, one of the best regular season NFL games of the season, if not the best game of the season.
The best, absolutely.
I mean, all that was on the line, and we saw the passing of the torch to the Seahawks as that team that's back in the NFC West. I mean, everything that went into that game, just an awesome, awesome moment.
Mm-hmm.
And it being here in Seattle, a 2-point conversion, get it and you win, don't and you lose kind of situation there at the end. I mean,
Literally does not get more dramatic for all of the stakes that were on the line.
Had to be on my top 5 Seattle sports moments of the year. We'll go up to number 3, Sounders winning the League's Cup.
Yep.
You had to have that on the top 5 as well. I think it's just because of the accomplishment of winning the League's Cup. It's one step higher than that Thursday Night Football.
Against
I know
Lionel Messi at Lumen Field.
Yeah, I know Seahawks is, the way more watched product and everything in NFL football and everything like that.
It's a championship. It's not a regular
season game
totally.
Versus League's Cup. I think I got to put League's Cup just a little bit higher than the Thursday Night Football game. And then, like I said, we're getting down to games that matter, not regular season, but playoffs. We're going to the Mariners. ALDS Game 5 at number 2.
I was there in the stands.
The Polanco walk-off sends the Tigers home. How different are we feeling about the Mariners in this current moment right now if they don't win that game?
I don't even want to think about that.
We're having completely different. We're sitting here saying, Jerry, go sign,
Alex
this big,
Bregman. Go get Kyle Tucker.
We're pleading for help at this point in the offseason free agency market. But right now it's like, well, we got through
Feeling
that.
pretty good. I mean, I know they need another bat in the middle of the lineup, but I feel really good about the team right now.
Yeah.
And the Zips projections came out. This team, if they don't make another addition, is projected to be a 90 to 94 win team.
Yeah.
Which I don't know. I think they still need another bat, but I mean the projections really, really like them. A full season of Josh Naylor with Jose Ferrer in the bullpen. You needed to bolster that bullpen. Hopefully they can get another bat. Hopefully Brendan Donovan, they can swing a move with some minor league prospects for him.
Yeah.
Man, I mean, you're right.
Off-season optimism for the Mariners as high as it's been in a quarter century, I would say.
Oh, yeah.
Since 2001, if not since, those 95, 97 years, just in terms of
I can't even think of a year that even compares. Well, I mean, maybe the 2022 year because it had been
finally
so
breaking
long.
the drought, yeah.
It's like, okay, we can finally build.
But that team
they didn't really
have
do anything, right?
And they didn't really have superstars yet. Like you could see what Cal and Julio were turning into, but now it's like they're there. You
didn't even see that. You didn't see even Cal on the horizon.
Yeah.
I mean, and you see, Luke Arkins tweeted this. He was on the podcast, front of the podcast. Julio with the 11th highest B WAR out of all players through their age 24 season.
I know.
I mean, that's absolutely.
And we're sitting here half the time saying, "Why is he struggling?"
Yep.
It's like, let's take a second and take a step back.
Let's look at the big picture. Let's not focus on one game or a weak sample size. Let's look at what he's doing at the age that he's doing.
Yeah.
And Mariners fans, you guys get to watch him for the next 7 or 8 years or however long that contract is.
Yep.
So you don't got to worry about him leaving anytime soon.
Yep. And that leads me to my top spot, my top 5 Dead or Alive ALCS Game 5. To get us back into it. I know they didn't win the series, but the Grand Slam.
Get out the ride, red and Mustang.
Incredible game. I was at that game in the stands. I mean, probably the best win in Mariners history outside of 95. Yeah, I mean, that's my number 1 Seattle sports moment of 2025.
Man,
what a moment.
Incredible list.
Yeah.
D-Jack would be proud.
Thank you.
I'm sure he would disagree with none of it.
Yeah.
Or all of it. I don't
Probably all of
know.
it, yeah.
Probably all of it. All right. Hey, Austin, we are right on time here.
Perfect.
That's going to do it for this episode of the podcast. Austin, thank you so much for coming on board. It's so cool to talk sports.
I'm usually on the other side of the room.
Yeah, usually on the other side. We love having you. Well, and hey, maybe we can bring you on right before the Super Bowl.
Sounds fun to me.
You're on the Disney Express line.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll catch Austin hopefully soon next, because that means good things are happening in the Seattle sports scene. So anyway, for Austin Lane, I'm Ethan McReynolds. We'll see you next time on the Sidelines.
On the Sidelines is available wherever you get your podcast.